Right, we are here for our con match for the Saltai clan here, week three, Khan's Kier League. We got Adam, the reigning Khan, who just slipped by Maxim last week, handing him one of his very few losses, up against Damien, who's going to be his challenger this week. And Evan's sitting in here with me for the match, and he's about to tell us about Damien's hand. What's he got over there?
Hello there, Evan here. And one thing before he makes, well, while he's making his multi-game decision, that I'd like to bring attention to is the fact that he won the coin flip and chose for Adam to go first. Is this a common occurrence during this Cons feature match? I've been out of the loop, so to speak.
Yeah, it's happened a couple times. So I kind of, in most leagues, I kind of just always put my opponent on the play in week one and two, like kind of low key. And people have brought
Mhm.
it up before, like, why are you doing that? I'm like, well, it's slow. And it's like, as the sets have gotten faster, I've kind of moved away from it sometimes. But I think in cons, at least in week one and two, it was correct. Not sure so much anymore.
Right.
What's going on in Damien's hand here? We see Adam with a nice on curve Savage Knuckle Blade here into a Sagu Mauler morphed, but the one about the scariest things.
Yeah, really brutal beating from Adam over there. Well, underneath that card is a Woolly Loxodon, one of two. The second is going to be potentially developed right now. The only thing that was making Damien hesitate is he has just drawn a Death Frenzy, which he could deploy next
Mm,
turn potentially. But
might be
um,
too late here.
given that
As
he's, yeah,
I'm just
exactly.
flipping
His
this
other
up.
card,
As my opponent, I'm just flipping this up. My opponent can't do anything about
mhm,
it. Yeah, I've mentioned this before in some of the feature matches or cons matches, but I had lost a couple games because I did put my opponent on the play. Like it was direct result of that. So I brought it up in my
mhm.
clan chat. I was like, "Do you guys think this is good?" And then some people were like, "You should never do that." And somebody brought up a very good point that you want to be the first one to have 5 mana to flip your morph. Like that's a very big turning point in the game, and you giving that to the opponent is can be rough.
Yeah.
So
Speaking of rough,
I mean, he's just gonna deal 6 damage here or 7 with his Awaken the Bear. So he's gonna unleash his inner teamer. I'm proud. He even had an Alpine Grizzly in hand as a follow up. But
wow.
yeah, so a mulligan here for Adam just finds him two great rares, and Damien could just not get anything going. It was a little too fast here.
Yeah. So Damien's last cards were a tap land that he drew, and then Abzan Ascendancy. He's
That is
making a
good.
couple switches to be a little. He dropped a 2 drop, put in another. I want to say Pine Walker, but another 5 drop nonetheless, and then swapped out. Uh, I believe he brought in a Bitter Revelation.
Yeah.
Um, so just orienting, I think, for a bit of a bigger dealing with bigger threats. Not as worried about aggro necessarily, or
Yeah,
like
so
flat out Mardu.
Adam's playing a four-color deck here with, I mean, I guess you could say base teamer, but really quite a smattering of white cards. And we were chatting a bit before the match, and he was just like, I don't really like playing a four-color pile. Like, I don't know what it is, but it just doesn't feel great. I got a lot of gold
Mm-hmm.
cards, and so I kind of just
Yeah,
feel pulled in many directions, and I'm like, that's good. This is kind of my jam. Like, I'm enjoying this league so far. Um,
nice.
yeah, so but I do I after one of my clan mates or clan members mentioned that you want to be the first one to have that 5 mana, that kind of sold me on putting myself on the play.
Yeah, that makes sense, and it's only going to be more correct as the weeks go on, and
But
you all get more powerful.
Damien sticking to his guns here. He's once again putting Adam on the play.
Yeah.
He's
Oh, I'm just looking at the records now. Richard, 12
yeah.
and 3,
Oof.
doing pretty well.
Shh, secret. Yeah, so Adam is he hasn't played yet this week, so he's around. He's 5-4, and Damien not having a great week so far this week, but he had a good week last week. But he's 5-7, so we're seeing a bit middle of the pack right now, or trending towards bottom half right now. But One of them is going to at least turn it around and either take or maintain the leadership of their group. So, what's Damien got working for him there?
Damien's got Seeker of the Way. He's just dropping now. In terms of morphs, he's got a Pine Walker, a Woolly Loxodon, and then he's got two lands and a Rotting Mastodon. And he has just drawn Abzan Ascendancy.
That's pretty
So,
good.
pretty decent curve, yeah.
Adam's got no castable spells, though this land will unlock his two white cards in hand. He has the High Sentinels of
Mm,
Arishan and the Abzan Battle Priest. He's
those
also
are
got
excellent.
a forest, an island, and a Savage Punch.
Mm.
So, not. I mean, if Damien has a did he have a removal there for this for these birds?
He does not have removal for these birds.
Hmm.
He's gonna have to.
But he can play the
Oh,
Abzan
well,
Ascendancy, and then he'll be attacking with two 4/4s.
I think he's probably. I imagine he's probably going to outlast and then use the Savage Punch he just
Oh,
drew
that'll
in
do it.
order to. I don't know if I like this though.
I prefer
Yeah,
targeting the Seeker of the Way, I think.
I think I would have preferred targeting the morph
Either, yeah.
uh,
Well, but
and then a swing with a 4/4 that has 3 damage on it and a 3/3.
so yeah, he alternative. I mean, I guess since I guess he just drew that.
Yeah, he just drew that. I
Yeah,
was just talking about how he didn't have removal, and then
yeah. His
I
alternate plan would have been to play the Abzan Ascendancy, and then he'd have two 4/4s attacking.
right, yeah.
He'd have the long shot squad and the Seeker of the Way would both be a 4/4, so he'd be able to at least get in some attacks
Hmm.
and get at him much slower. So he's left up his embodiment of spring here. Like this is a card that, like it looks like it's where you want to be. Like slow format, fixes your colors, blocks morphs, but it costs one mana. It costs one color of mana to play and another color of mana to use. So it's
Hmm.
like your fixing is like two colors. It's like it works against itself a bit. I find.
Yeah, I
Like I'm not
briefly looked
partial to it.
into. It seems like it might be good for his deck, just based on the very brief look I got at his sideboard. It is a
Yeah.
lot of colors that he's playing, right?
It might be needed
So
more than it is
yeah,
good.
necessary evil.
Yeah, like it doesn't have as many, I think, as many tap lines as you would want to have. Like me, I know I'm playing a teamer deck with a couple black cards, and I have like two embodiments, but I have like 10 or 11 tap lines, so I'm just like, don't need it. No thanks.
What is
Right.
his top land count at, anyways, roughly?
Sorry?
Adam's tap land count.
Yeah.
What is it roughly? Given that you mentioned it.
Oh, I didn't count them, but I know it wasn't like a huge, gigantic amount. I think that's
Mm,
what he was saying before is like his tap lands are not as numerous as he would want, but he has lots of Jeskai and Teamer cards, and he wants and like they're among his best rares.
hmm.
But this is just gonna push the game a little bit out of control here, I think.
Yeah.
There is a Savage Punch in hand, which can knock out one of the smaller creatures, but the 6/6 and the 5/5 are safe from that.
Hmm. And are gonna pop out a spirit when they die, if I recall Ascendancy correctly.
Yeah, and a non-token dying will get him a spirit. He does have access to his Teamer Charm now, which is another fight spell. I mean, that's basically how he's wanting to use it, I think.
Hmm.
I mean, he's at one. I'm not sure what exactly can be done here. I mean, he could outlast the Battle Priest to put a counter on it, and then it'll fight with lifelink. That might be what he needs to do. He might
Yeah,
also
that
just say good
seems.
game and move on, not wanting to show
Yeah.
those spells. I mean, he could have lived. He could have gotten a bit of a life bump, but there was just too much, and too many creatures on the other side there, and the powers were too high.
Hmm.
Yeah, so
Pushing
he's
a boulder
got
up a hill.
looks like he's got six tap lands, which is pretty low for a 60 card deck where you're playing four colors with. I wouldn't even call it a splash of white. I mean, there's one, two, three, four, five white cards, or six white cards, seven white cards, seven white cards plus a white morph. So that's not really a splash. So yeah, 6 is a bit low for where you want to be for tap lands. So Embodiment of Spring makes the cut.
For the very high performing decks in this league, do we see that their pools and opens have been gracing them with a lot of tap lands? Are those some of the big differences between the haves and have-nots in this league? Do you find, Richard?
Um, I'm not sure, but I mean, the better your mana base is, the better your deck's going to be. And this is a really mana base dependent format because of all the
Mm.
gold cards that you're pushed to play, right? The 2 color cards, the 3 color cards, like those are going to be your best cards. Like the monocolor cards at common and most and uncommon just are not as good for the most part.
Mm.
So
So yeah, I should tell you about what
yeah,
Damien
what's he
has.
got going on here?
He's got War Behemoth, the 5 mana 3/6, I believe, in white.
Yep.
He's got a Siege Rhino, which I believe he'll be playing right now. Savage Punch, 2 lands, a Pine Walker, and a Necropolis Feed is what he just drew off the top here.
All right. On curve Siege Rhino is nice. Adam's got the natural Tron here, one of each basic. So in
Beautiful.
hand he has a Tranquil Cove which he could have played last turn. Instead he chose to play the Forest to potentially leave up Awaken the Bear for perhaps a fight spell or something. He's
Mm,
got a Ride Down, a Kill Shot, and now another Awaken the Bear here. So I think he's
all
going to be
right.
trying to just pound in with flying damage, but Damien's going to be winning that race most assuredly. But Kill Shot will deal with this Siege Rhino here.
Yeah. Unfortunately, just as he gets rid of a 4/5, he'll then have to be dealing with a 5/5 that's going to be developed.
Yeah, it's going to be rough here with only one creature. I mean, this Wind Scout. I mean, it's a nice card to have, but I don't think it's going to go all the way here against Damien playing something every turn. So like there were these green blue deck. This hand, I mean, he does have a Ride Down, which is a bit weird, but like this hand with the 2 Awaken the Bears does remind me of like sort of one version of the green blue deck you could have in Khans Attack here. Like there was the Morph deck, but there was also just like play Alpine Grizzly, play Wind Scout, play bounce spells, play pump spells, and you just get in a bunch of damage.
Yeah, very tempo heavy.
Yeah, that
Bounce
was
and
usually paired with like that was usually including red for some of the red cards as well, the teamer cards. But
Mhm.
it was usually base green blue. But it was one of the strategies. It was just play guys, bounce, like crippling chill and force away and awaken the bear were all like excellent. So yeah, here comes a war behemoth, which is gonna gain vigilance for a turn here, or pseudo vigilance.
But
And I think
potentially is
Adam
going to
Adam
die.
has to use Adam. I mean, yeah, this the bird's gonna get +4/+4, so it will eat it. But I mean, you want to be using this on offense, right? Like you want to be
Yeah,
using
almost
that.
certainly.
I mean, if you can trade your 3 mana pump spell for 8 mana worth of an opponent's mana. Yeah, he's gonna try the same thing again, but the thing is this time it's gonna be a trade.
Yeah.
Is Damien counting up if he has enough for his fiend yet?
Hasn't actually gone into his graveyard to
I
count, but
believe he does though.
yes, he will. But he quite probably will just want to be hard casting Willie Loxodon
Yeah, and here this is
as a
just
bigger threat and
yeah, he had to
just get
two
it
for
out
one
there.
himself to kill this. Like now with no way to get this off the board and just lands in a ride down, this elephant is gonna be cracking in for potentially lethal next turn.
Oh yeah, I mean Damien's got the Fiend, Savage Punch, Kill Shot, Abzan Charm. He's got him
Yeah,
covered.
Adam doesn't have the board wipes, so
No Wraths, unfortunately.
I don't think he can do anything. I'm not sure if there's even a card he can draw that can pull him into a turn's worth here. Well, there's his draw.
Beautiful.
Fitting, yeah, unfortunate. So we see Damien taking leadership of the Sultai here. So congratulations to Damien, and we'll be seeing him next week in the con match for Sultai. And we'll be back with the Mardu match a little bit later today.